Hi guys. A few tips for you for the competition tomorrow. Um, just some just some things to keep in mind when you come in here tomorrow. You're going to have 2 hours to organize yourselves, do your scripts, make your graphics, and edit your VOs and transfer them into the computer and get that thing all set up. I'll try to have your Final Cut uh, sequences and everything there for you. So all you have to do is transfer the files over, put them in the sequences, render them, and you're ready to go. But what you're going to find that these stories, you're going to get bogged down a little bit in it. You're going to get freaked out if you spend too much time worrying about the details of these stories. You're never going to get done. So look at these stories tomorrow in a general sense. Think about the basic who, what, where, when, and why. Recognize there's parts of that you don't need to include, and think about making those stories like 5, 6 sentences long. If they're a VO, you might add a couple more sentences to it, to make it, time it out to 30, 35 seconds, 40, whatever, not a big deal. But when you're writing these stories, I know you haven't done a lot of writing, but remember that the key to it is not giving your anchors big, long run-on sentences. You want to make them short, punchy sentences. And don't use a bunch of strange words. If your anchors are struggling with words and they can't pronounce something that's just one of those weird tongue twisters for them, just choose a different word. Don't force them to say a word, and ask them what word is easier for you to say. Just do it. I noticed a couple of people writing lead sentences like newspaper headlines, like floodwaters appear dangerous. Don't write a newspaper headline for a lead opening sentence of a story. Make it look like, or make it say, you want it to say something like, um, the floodwaters of the Missouri River are threatening homeowners this evening, or something like that. And when you write a lead sentence like that, it should basically give you a general idea of what the story is about. You're sort of setting the stage for what the story is. Even though it may only be a 30-second story, you're just setting the stage for that story. So it looks like floodwaters are going to be a big problem for people living along the Missouri River tonight. Then you go into the story. Authorities say the Missouri River has risen to a dangerously high level. It's supposed to be at 8 feet when in fact it's now at 20 feet or something like that. So give a general idea of what the story is off the top, and then get into the who, what, where, when, and why, and don't overthink it. You're not going to be severely graded on the absolute facts of your story because they know you're slamming to get this thing done. They're concerned about how structured it is, how well you pulled off the newscast, how well your anchors are reading, and that sort of thing. They want to look at the overall picture. They're not going to break your story down and decide what facts you must have missed on that as much as, they'll look at that, but not that in-depthly. So when you're picking out the stories tomorrow, a couple of things I didn't talk to you about yesterday, but we talked about earlier. Think about two things. How many people are affected by the story that you're picking out, and do you have video? This is a visual medium, so think about that. If you have video, and if you want to still run a story because you think it affects a lot of people and it's important, think about the graphics. If you can somehow put graphics through the middle part of the story or something to help with the visual elements. So when you get here to your class, realize you have 4 people. What I would suggest you do is break 2 people down to be your main script writers, timing the show, all of that. Somebody else is editing video and exporting and getting them over onto the computer, and somebody else is making graphics. And then when somebody gets done with their assigned duties, I just said duty, uh, jump in and help where you can. And if you're an anchor, remember that you have got to practice your scripts out loud. Don't just sit and mumble them, practice them out loud. So remember, it's a 2-hour window. I'm going to give you about a 5-minute breather to get yourselves ready. Then you have a 20-minute window to rock and roll. And as soon as you declare that you're ready to record it, we'll hit the record button, and then you get one shot at it. So, okay. That is your journalism tips of the day. I hope you're starting to see why they spend years teaching people how to do this properly. You guys are learning it in a week and a half. All right. See you in the morning.